Hi guys.
Hello.
Welcome to ARLENE Spiritcast. If you're new to this podcast, we talk about all things related to mindfulness, magic, metaphysics, astrology, tarot, Reiki, meditation, spirituality in general, anything in that realm. Today's episode is more around like the idea of the shadow, and in particular, it's in regards to that connection with what is happening currently right now in 2020, and the connection with like spirituality and what you can do as like a spiritual person, light worker, light warrior, whatever you want to call yourself. That's this episode. And the next episode too, we're going to delve into the shadow, but the next one's really more focused on healing, I would say. And then I'm sure we can do a shadow self episode period, explaining in depth what that is.
So this is a part of our shadow series. Would you want to call that?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna break it up. It's just this episode and the next one are more geared towards the shadow and in regards to like current events, I would say. And the next one has more healing involved. We actually have a recorded healing. We have our shamanic friend who was on the podcast before, Thomas Mooneygle. He does a healing on ARLENE, so you guys can actually hear that and kind of experience that with her, which is pretty cool. Before we start chatting, I just want to remind you all to subscribe.
Yeah, please like and subscribe. If you can leave a review, a positive one would be nice. Helps us out. And then we are actually going to start using Patreon and putting some exclusives on there. So you can become a patron. It's linked down below. We really appreciate your support. As always, thank you for listening.
All right. And follow us on social media.
Follow us everywhere. All our social links are in the box too. We're at ARLENE. You can find us anywhere. Just Google us.
All right. So, if you are listening to this right now, you probably are aware that there's a lot going on in the country with a lot of different things, and we live in Pittsburgh, and we've had like crazy protests and just a lot of lot going on. And I think that right now we're at a place of like people are standing up. Yeah, it's like almost like we're revolting against all of these systemic issues that are going on. And I did a lot of thinking about it, you can see on the internet a lot of people calling themselves like light warriors and light workers and across the gambit indigo and all these spiritual people who do the light and love and talk about how they are fighting for this better future. And then I was thinking about how it connects to the events that are going on, and then I realized, like, if there is a better time, there is no better time than now for the quote spiritual warrior to man up and grab their shields.
Period. Man up, grab your shields. That's funny. You're like all calm about it. He just says that really very, very serious statement. No,
I'll give you guys some foreshadowing a little bit. This is gonna be silly, but I as you know, her and I do our like charts and numerology, all that kind of stuff, and I have like a really, really oddly intense like warrior. Like the angels that are connected with me are all like Archangel Michael.
Yours is very, very intense. Yours
like,
is extremely intense. Like you're all of it. Like your moon and your sun are Virgo.
Yeah, I have a very masculine chart. I have like numerology, my numbers are really intense. It's funny.
Yeah, like the power numbers.
Yeah.
Your life path is literally like the ruling life path.
It's like that. I don't know, but it's we always laugh about because I'm a very like calm like person, and then I have this like
you have this side like you're calm and diplomatic. That's what I would call you. You're very diplomatic and you're very wise with the way you phrase things and the way you handle situations. Period. Unless they catch you on the wrong day, and then the straight up warrior comes out.
Oh god, I do want to burn it down.
Yeah, because you are generally very peaceful. Like your demeanor is very
I think it's
peaceful.
a Libra. I think I have a my rising is Libra, and I always joke that my Libra. Okay, so your rising sign is like how you look to the world. And it used to be that in astrology, from what I understand, they used to use your rising sign, and then we switched to the sun. And I could be wrong. If you're an astrologer, chime in, let us know, because we are definitely not like professional astrologers.
No, just a hobby.
Just like it. So I always joke, and then I have like Virgo. So I always joke that like I have this really intense Virgo energy that's just hiding behind a Libra. That's like, yeah, I'm so chill. I'm just like,
I sent you a meme because I've been posting a lot of like those funny zodiac memes. I sent you one, and it was Beyonce and Jay-Z, and it's like my moon hiding behind my
sun, right?
My sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like the moon behind my sun until I'm comfortable to let you know the real me.
Yeah.
You're like, this does not apply to me.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
It's like lovely meme, but I'm Virgo.
Because mine's Cancer Taurus. And it makes sense. It fits me.
I was laughing. So my fiance, his signs are like flipped. So he has a fire sign for his sun, but then his moon and rising are both like water signs. And he's like a major hippie, and
sorry, Casper just walked in front.
So we have our cat is sitting here, and
he came to hang out.
Yeah, if you hear purring, it's because he is chilling the most right now. Like
how we all should be.
So okay. Anyways, whenever the start of the pandemic happened, and I think we could like joke this is like our real talk like episode or whatever. But anyways, whenever the pandemic started with the coronavirus, I saw that a lot of spiritual people were saying that we needed to rise up and that we needed to create a better world. And then I also realized that, and this isn't everybody, and I'm not trying to make anybody feel weird, because I think everybody has like a purpose and a part to play, and there is a meaning. Like, we might not understand things, but there's meaning with everything, and your intentions are what matter. I'm just talking about like the train of thought I had in the conversation the two of us had earlier. So, I saw all of this, and then I noticed that these same like spiritual warriors weren't speaking up about the injustices that are happening in the world and in America right now, but globally, like, period. And then I'm like, okay, well, why would somebody not do that? And then I know, like, her and I have study a lot. We joke we're spirit college, and a lot of the metaphysical, spiritual teachings, law of attraction, all that stuff, they say there's a reality transsurfing is another good one. I love that, by the way. But there's a lot of teachings that you should ignore the things that you don't like, because whenever you acknowledge it, you are giving your power to that situation that you don't like. So therefore, if something bad happens, something you don't want, something makes you uncomfortable happens, the idea would be that you would just ignore it so that you don't play into that paradigm. So if we'll use lack, because that's like one that always, comes up with a lot of like law of attraction stuff. Yeah, like if you focus on the things you lack, then you're going to attract more lack into your life. Exactly. Okay. Or emotions, if you feel bad, if you focus on how bad you feel, that's what you're going to keep attracting. So I'm with it. Like, what you focus on, you receive, and what you give your energy to, you will attract, or you're feeding into that negativity. Because there also are some entities and people and things like that feed off of like darker negative stuff. Like, there are. Yeah, we're just seeing one part of the world. We're not seeing the vastness of the universe and all the other energies at play. Yeah. But that's like a whole other podcast. Yeah, it's a whole other thing. And that goes, you can see it like through like religions, through politics, just, it's cults, clearly evident. Gurus. That, like, I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna go off on a tangent about that. Yeah, that's like a whole other episode. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to like look up. We're actually doing some protection magic studies right now, and that's one of the things they talk about. So, anyways, back to reality transurfing and the like. That being said, one would be prompted to ignore issues because they don't want to play into that paradigm. They don't want to attract it. And then, so I'm wondering if that's why there are a lot like of people who might ignore or not talk about what is happening right now with our racial issues and racial injustice that's going on in America. That if you ignore it, that problem will go away because you're not giving energy to it. And then this is just my stream of thought because it's been on my mind, and
we are.
It's important.
It's a duty. We are multiracial people who have lived through too much of this. Our parents have, our grandparents, and silence doesn't work.
Yeah, so that's where I'm getting at. I'm getting at like the idea of this, like I said, it's just my thought process. Like,
take it or leave it.
If I'm ignoring things I don't like, what am I giving my energy to? And then am I giving my energy to something that will benefit the collective? So this is where I have the issue with ignoring the things that you don't like. If you ignore the things that you don't like, it doesn't mean that it will go away. Because what are you replacing that with? What are you manifesting in its place? What are you working towards? And there's a popular quote that goes around where, I forget who said it, but they said that they won't go to a protest for war, but they'll go to a protest for peace. And then that'll be the excuse as Mother Teresa, as to not fight for injustices that are going on and to stand up for people who are suffering, for helping people who need it, and for ignoring issues. It's because you are like, well, I'm not playing into that paradigm. Okay, cool, but what are you doing to help? What are you doing to make the lives better for people that are suffering? Especially if you know what's going on. That's the other thing. Like, if you're aware of it, that means that you have that core connected, just knowing it's happening.
Well, I always think, just us being in New York, those are the people who are ignoring are the same people who are stepping over homeless people.
Yeah.
Same people who are going into Whole Foods and getting from Amazon, buying the Birkin bags, whatever. There's a level of accountability that needs to happen, period.
Yeah. And, this is just, this is us having,
take it or leave it.
Yeah,
this
take
is
it or leave it.
This is our podcast. We're saying our piece. This is an philosophical thing to get you thinking. If you listen to this, it's a call to action. It's time.
So, I'm not gonna go to a protest where I am being angry, and how do I phrase it? I am protesting out of hate. I hate the other side, but I am gonna go to a protest because I'm protesting for peace. I'm protesting for equality. I'm protesting for human rights, for love. And it could be any kind of action. It's really it's scary right now. So, I'm not telling you to run out in the streets and risk everything, but I'm just saying in general, what is the other side of that? And what are you ignoring? Because at the end of the day, and I'm going to say it, silence is compliant. If you are just going with the status quo and feel it, if you are identifying as a spiritual warrior or a whatever, and you're just going with it, you have to ask yourself, what are you manifesting in its place? Because just going with it isn't going to fix anything.
Well, this is going to piss some people off. I'm saying it. It's showing what are your motives? Are you getting into the metaphysics, spiritual law of attraction to manifest money? Or are you doing it for a better world? Is this something that a niche that you're getting into because you want to make money? Or do you actually believe in this life? Do you believe in the practices of Buddha? Do you believe in anything that you're studying? Or are you just doing it for money? And that's something that I've noticed.
Okay, so, that's a whole other thing. So, with the trend of spiritual awakening that's happening right now, we have to also realize and respect the cultures and it's not new. These are all ancient practices, like shamanism, Buddhism, Hinduism. A lot of these things are, a lot of the New Age stuff is based off of ancient wisdom, and sometimes it gets lost in the shuffle. You forget that that mindfulness meditation practice you're doing has roots that are ancient, and all of that deserves to be respected. That's not here nor there. Today we're talking about what you can do as a spiritual person to help the world. There's things you can do. So it's basically a call to action for anyone who identifies as a mystic across the board. So what we're saying is, if you are a witch, if you believe you're a witch, everyone's saying they're a witch on the internet. Everyone is saying they have some sort of practice. Okay, well, what can you do with your magic? What can you manifest to help the world? And it's not even like, the more you help people, the better there's a karmic implication to things as well. Like, if you are helping to protect people, you are going to get that energy of love back to you. And the thing is, you have to do it out of a place of love. We all know, like, I mean, if you do study witchcraft, there's the rule of 3, and what you put out, you receive 3 times. So I'm not, you don't have to, like, do something because you want to have good things happen. I'm just saying good things go around. Like, that energy is contagious. So, all right, we'll talk about witches. Can you do a protection spell for the people who are protesting right now?
I did.
To keep them safe.
I did.
Okay. And, like, this is just stuff to think about. Like, okay, well, can I do a protection spell? Can I call in higher energies to help protect the people who are on the front lines of this revolution?
Archangel Michael.
So, yes, then we can go into that. Like, let's say you are spiritual and you connect with the angels. You can call in angels to help protect people and like, send out this loving energy. All right, you don't do any of that magic stuff, but you meditate. Well, how about you meditate with the intention of protection and peace?
Or love. Just
and
love.
Just
yes.
Love. And send it, imagine, so, like, here, we'll do, like, a quick thing. So, you are going to close your eyes, and then you can place your hands on your heart chakra and connect to your heart, and then visualize this loving energy in your heart chakra, okay? And imagine it engulfing you. And now breathe in, and you're going to breathe in all of that love. And then imagine it expanding. And then allow it to expand until it engulfs your entire community. And let it get even larger until it engulfs the world. And then when you're ready, you can pull that energy back into yourself, back into your heart chakra. That's it, guys. It's that simple. Okay?
You're like, boom, here you go. Like, well, literally, it is that simple. What I think happens is people get so caught up in the lack of hope. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things. You think it's what's happening is a wasted effort. Mm-hmm. Hopelessness. Or it's just, like you said, like pure anger and frustration. Yes. And to everything, because it's just, we're living through some crazy times. Mm-hmm. And change has to happen. Like, people are probably wondering, like, why is this all happening right now? Yeah. Because this is how it had to happen. Yeah. And right now we might not understand it, but eventually we will. But, and same thing, like, people who have anxiety problems, super empath people, protect your energy, ground your energy, yes. And just simply, like you said, doing a simple meditation. Like, you do not need to put yourself in harm's way to make a difference. Just share a tweet here every once in a while. Share stuff on your social media, because you might, like, even if you only have 100 followers, like, one of those people might see that message and then decide to change their heart. Yes. And we cannot fight. You can't fight hate with hate. No. You fight hate with love. You change people's hearts with love and education. And you vibrating higher, you being the light, you being the change you wish to see. People, that is the facts. And like you said, like, the law of attraction stuff, like, they do teach you to ignore things you don't like and only focus on what you do like. Okay, well, if you don't like that there's rioting happening and people are getting, these atrocities are happening, then focus on peace, focus on love, focus on positive changes. Healing, love. Just focus on love, because by you focusing on love energy, it's the highest vibration. Mm-hmm. You're pulling that into your existence, and then your life is an echo of what could be. So by you vibrating higher, you focusing on love, you're attracting more of that love energy, you're emanating love energy, and then that is going to have an energetic impact on your surroundings, everybody you come in contact with. So just focus on that. If you can't handle seeing the truth, looking at the truth, and feeling it. So I know I was this whole entire pandemic has showed me a new side of fear. I felt emotions I've never felt before, and it is hard. But you have to face the shadow, face the issues to heal it. You can't shove it down.
Yeah, and that includes so when we refer to the shadow, we each have our own shadow. Okay, so this is the Spark Notes edition. So your shadow is basically the parts that make you up, that you hide and you don't like about yourself. And we'll try to do like healing because we want to have ourselves, our lives a certain way, but we'll neglect the shadow and sometimes it's like real deep because we don't want to acknowledge it. So then that shadow, those parts are still there and still toxic. But how people will work with that is they'll learn to love their shadow and then heal the parts that are holding them back. And that's your individual shadow. Sometimes it can, shadow healing could be something that like you perceive as something you want to hide, but it's really not that bad, and you learn to love it, and you end up loving yourself as a whole, because you have to love every part of yourself, and that's the parts you don't like. And you want to heal yourself, but you have to heal the parts that make you uncomfortable. So that's our shadow. But now remember, we're all interconnected. So our collective has a shadow. Our planet, we have a darkness that we will try to hide from, and that's what is coming to the surface. So racism is one of those things that needs to be healed. Inequality. We need equality, okay? And we'll try to talk about stuff like this and then won't use the words like white supremacy, racism, things like that. Fuck that, okay? It's wrong. It is wrong, and it needs to be acknowledged, and it needs to be healed. And as a light worker, a spiritual person, you have to do your part, period.
You should do your part. You should do your part. And maybe if you're someone that hasn't taken action, took a stand, this might be what you needed to hear to have that happen. But just because you're not affected by what's occurring in the world doesn't mean that you can't make a difference.
Yes.
I know we still have an episode coming out with Karen. We talk a lot about, we forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about what we can do for the world, and we choose we're in America, we're Americans. Our media outlets and so on and so forth shield us from a lot of the atrocities that occur.
Yes.
And we have just the atrocities in the world. Like, this is global. And there's things that we can all do on our part to help other people. We all are one.
And
we're one.
Yes. And the suffering of others is ours. It is your suffering. And people who are suffering, that is your suffering as well.
Ignorance isn't bliss.
No.
And just because you're not affected by it doesn't mean that you aren't affected by it. Does that make sense? Like, just because you might not have to deal with racism or deal with
poverty,
severe poverty or not having clean water or whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that other people aren't. There's a lot of people who are really, really, really suffering.
Yeah.
Really, really bad. Girls can't go to school. Girls can't go to the bathroom during the day. Like, we cover that in Karen's. Like, there's a lot of things that we ignore because we get so caught up in our normal day-to-day and in our politics here that we ignore. Yeah. And this is all coming to the surface for a reason.
Yes. Yeah.
Donate. Do whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
That's all you can do.
Yeah, at your level. And so, like, start from a place of love. So, how you can tell where you're coming from is, like, if you looked at everybody the way you look at someone you love, you wouldn't want them to suffer, and you would do what you can. So why can't you look at strangers that way without anything? Like, why do you have to have them do something for you so that you love them? Why can't you just give love to everybody? Because if we all acted that way, there wouldn't really be suffering because we would all, like, not want to see it. And I saw this picture, there were protesters, all this crazy stuff happening, and then there was a family that was just, I don't even know, it wasn't like a family, it's like people, and they were sitting there eating lunch, just like watching it, and it was just such a crazy, like, divide. Like, how can you just sit there calmly eating while there are people who are getting, like, tear gassed in the streets or whatever? I'm sure there wasn't tear gas because they were eating, but, like, they weren't affected. But you know what I mean? Like,
it's the disassociation.
Yeah.
It's this doesn't affect me, so I'm going to live my life the way I'm living my life and go back to my bubble. But eventually that bubble's going to burst.
Well, there is an obligation with privilege. If you are privileged, okay, in any way, and we're not exclusively, when you hear privilege, you think, like, oh, white privilege. But I'm talking about privilege in general. Like, if you have your needs met, it is a privilege that you are able to get food easily because there are people who can't. It's a privilege that you can go to school, a privilege that you can walk down the street safely. Okay, so if you have that, you have an obligation to help those who can't. And I don't. Yes, you do, because we are all in this together. We're all in it together, no matter what. The narratives that divide are like that for a reason, because they don't want us to connect and stay united to make a better world. They want to convince us that we're not the same, that we're not, pit us against each other, so that we don't come together for the sake of humanity. So our call to action, if you are a healer, heal people. Don't charge them $500. Heal them right now if they need it, because that's what you were given those gifts to do, to help people. I'm not saying don't make a living. I'm just saying, like, if you want to help, like, what's going on right now, like, if you see there's this crazy stuff in the streets and you are a loved person, then send that healing out to those people. I'm seeing girls out there saging, okay? That's what I'm talking about. Like,
that's what I want to see. Like, I want to see, like, that's what I want to see. I want to see people who are out here saging or sending your healings out. Do a group meditation.
Yes.
There's so much that anybody can do. It's just the ignoring of it and then not speaking on it. Like, I'm glad people are getting called out for this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there are positives to this. Like, I'm seeing more people who I would never expect to share this information on the social media, because now we're getting to the point where this isn't, it never was, but we're getting to the point where everybody needs to step up. Doesn't matter where you're from, what race you are, what country you live in. Everybody is. People are protesting in New Zealand and stuff.
Yeah, because it's not hard.
In England and in Italy.
Yeah.
Fuck. Sorry.
Well, you know what? This is the thing is, it's like us. It's versus the societal issues, problems, and conditioning that we've all been put through, that's been fucking our shit up forever. It's not. This isn't new. This is forever. Yeah. This is the same things that Martin Luther King has, and Malcolm X were fighting for. It's the same things that our parents, our grandparents, have been fighting for. It's freedom. It is freedom for everybody, every single person. Equality, safety. No one should be afraid of leaving their house or even just being in their house. Yeah. People in America right now, people are getting killed just for being in their house. So how can you ignore that? Yeah, you can't ignore that. Yeah, because ignoring it doesn't fix it. It never has, never will. Yeah. And complacency is bullshit. Yeah. So, like, the thought is, what are you giving your energy to? Okay.
Like, you want to keep your media, you want to spread your positive message, like, that's totally fine. But there's ways that you can still spread awareness and still remain under that umbrella.
Can we just say one post?
Just one post, because you don't know who's going to see that, and it's going to spark them to want to donate to a fund or a freedom fund or something. And I understand not wanting to give your energy to the bad and anger and so on and so forth, but
give your love.
Send your love to the families of the people who were forcibly, unwillingly martyred for this. Yeah. And just send your love to them, because there's no amount of frustration that we can give that's going to take away the hurt and the pain that these senseless killings have caused. Yeah. But we can have it stop. Yeah. We can do what we can right now to make it stop. To stand up, and this is not cool. This is not okay. Yeah. It's not.
Yeah, I feel like too now it's like not like we're having other issues coming to the surface. Like a lot of like the idea of like income inequality has been coming up because of the current events. But ways that you can help. Okay, you can sign petitions, create petitions. You have to vote. Period. And you have to vote for people that are going to make a difference. Your vote counts. You can send letters out to the people who are running the shows. People think that, like, oh, I'm emailing my, like, senator, or I'm emailing, or I'm sending this out. They're not going to see it. They don't care. But if enough of them get out there, they're going to have to deal with it. You have to say your piece. If you see somebody doing something wrong, okay, there's a thing called inherent, like, biases. So sometimes, like, people will do things, they don't realize that it is offensive or hurtful for somebody else because that's not how they were raised. You can call them out on it, and not even in a mean way. You can just say, well, you realize that isn't true, okay? Or get on social media, be the change you want to see. Say things, report things. Just be there and help each other. We're not saying you have to go out and risk out your lives protesting. We're saying that what can you do in your capacity to be a part of the change that we want to see, instead of just being complacent. And then if you go back to like energy, spirituality, like how can you use the tools that you have been blessed with and learning, knowing, how can you use those to help other people? Period.
Because it doesn't matter. Like, you might think it's your voice is useless or whatever, but you donate $1. If 1 million people donate $1, it's $1 million that can go to the family of one of these victims, or can go to pushing to get some sort of legislation change, or it all counts. Like, every tiny little bit counts.
Any kind of thing, and any issue too. Like donating $1. Okay, there's food, hunger. People are hungry. Okay, in the world, so donate $1. Oh, it's just $1, but it's $1 they didn't have, and like you said, if 100 people donated $1, that's $100 they're feeding people.
It's feeding people. It's just, like, there's things we can all do to help in our capacity. Vote. Vote.
All right. So, anyways, I'm gonna close up this podcast. The biggest takeaway is, we would like all people who identify as some sort of spiritual something or another,
shaman, witch,
to
healer,
do something. Send healing out to people who need it. You don't have to be a Reiki person to do it. You don't have to be an energetic healer to do it. Everybody has that. You can send healing with the intention. If you're do protection magic for the people on the front lines, do pray, ask for angels. I'm not too confident with deities, but I'm sure there are people who are.
If you know about the deities and the goddesses,
and there's a goddess that will help, send her out there, ask her to help. If you're into like elemental stuff, ask some fairies to get in there, I guess. I mean, if you're into it, don't do it if you're not, because fairies are like something else.
We should clarify. If you know,
we're saying if you are in,
if you know what you're doing and you know how to do protection spell, if you know how to work with deities, know how to work with fairies, or any type of elemental, take action.
Yes, meditate. Now, everybody always this is one thing. Like, meditation is the starting point for all of it. It helps you if you're manifesting. It helps you focus your energy. It helps with everything. Everybody can meditate. Meditate on a subject. Like, a effective way to use meditation is to meditate on a thing that you're working with. So why don't you meditate on a better world? Meditate on love. Just kind of help out in a spiritual sense, and in the plane, also in the physical world. Like, speak your piece. Don't call out people who are being weird, or call out the injustices. Do whatever you can at your capacity. Donate if you want. Sign petitions. You can do that, but we're also saying, like, spiritually speaking, since this is a spiritual podcast. Yeah. If this is a time to be a light warrior, it's now. This is it. Well, yeah, for me.
This is it. I was laughing because I was listening to one of our first podcasts, and I said, we were like, 2020, I don't know, it feels different, something, some change. We're only 6 months in, so there is still, there's still hope, though, man. I do feel good, because I feel like I feel like a lot of change is happening right when it needs to, and it's all happening, quickly, and this is how it had to go, and that's on everybody's level, personal level, whatever. Like, from my personal level, I feel like this has been the time that I've needed to heal and move forward in everything in my life. So it's time to take action, guys. Please help, do what you can,
and know that you have power. That's the other thing. A lot of times we're made to feel like our voices don't count, that our voices don't matter. You matter, your voice matters, you have power, and you need to use it to help people, period. 100% help yourself and help others. Okay.
There you go.
All right, bye.
Thank you.
Okay, so now it's time for Reiki. As usual, at the end of every podcast, we like to send our listeners some distant Reiki. We advise that you do not drive or operate any vehicles during this mini Reiki session, because Reiki sometimes can make you sleepy. So for this session, all you have to do is sit back, relax, and be open to receiving the energies. We like our clients to meditate, but you don't have to. You'll still get the Reiki energy. The music will change, and when the music stops, the Reiki session has ended. Thanks for listening. Bye.